Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing gray with blue, official weight 170 pounds. His professional record, 51 victories, including 25 knockouts, with only 3 defeats and 1 draw. From St. Petersburg, Florida, the former undisputed light middleweight champion of the world, the challenger, Winky. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue, official weight 170 pounds. His professional record, 47 victories with 32 knockouts, 4 defeats, 1 draw, and 1 no contest. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the former undisputed middleweight champion of the world, the reigning and defending light heavyweight champion of the world, Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins.
Huge reception for the 2 greats.
Okay, Bernard, Winky, I gave you instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm gonna say now is when I tell you to stop, what that means is stop whatever you're doing and give me a clean break. Protect yourselves at all times, obey my commands at all times. Mr. Hopkins, Mr. Wright, both of you are world champion caliber professional athletes. I expect you to conduct yourselves that way in this ring and in this fight. Let's do it.
Go. Well, most feel a tactical tussle of sharp moves, feints, and minds is about to unfold, but these 2 are proud, and they promise they'll engage, and after that weigh-in rumble, tension has been running fairly high. The fight's in the light heavyweight division, but made at 12 stone 2. No title on the line, doesn't need it. The size with Hopkins. Wright possibly a touch fleshy on those scales there. Hearts and defenses and chins utterly proven. How will things develop in this marquee match? Hopkins on the offensive.
Yeah, Hopkins getting close earlier than Winky Wright would have liked. Winky trying to make an early impression. I think he realises he must be ahead in points, comfortably ahead in points at the halfway stage, because this is without doubt a job that's going to get tougher as it goes along. Maybe he's setting a pace he doesn't think Hopkins can live with, but he's not all that controlled in the first minute of the fight here.
Winky Wright admits that he's not a natural light heavyweight, not even really a natural middleweight. They have been working very hard on the strength, building it up. Conditioner Darrell Hudson here in Las Vegas, where he trains now.
Well, Winky forcing things here, as I say, trying to make that early impression, but he's not finding the target, and he's taking little chopping, not hurtful, but little chopping counters. There they go again. Hopkins knows all the tricks, knows how to nullify what you're good at and get his own workout.
Right to the body from Hopkins, who believes Wright has nothing more than a shell-like defense and a jab, and Wright felt the punch there from Hopkins, who believes he carries more power higher up in weight than he used to.
Well, not the tactics that I expected from Winky Wright, but we were right about one thing. They are going to engage. I think they're worried about the down publicity they had to suffer, the fact that people's expectations were so low. So it looks like we're in for the type of fight we hope for. But Winky Wright making a lot of mistakes, and that is not like him.
Nodding to Dan Birmingham in the corner, but it's a clumsy start from Ronald Winky Wright. And the meteor punches with Bernard Hopkins, who himself is a defensive master.
Well, it's good to see Winky Wright fired up, but he certainly needs a bit more method. Yeah, you have to think your way around Bernard Hopkins. You can't just jump forward, pumping out punches. Not, I think, the start that Winky Wright was looking for. He showed that he's not intimidated, but for me, the quality punch is not a great opening round, but the quality with Hopkins.
Freddie Roach, who's joined Bernard Hopkins' team because Nazim Richardson, his longtime trainer, had a stroke, unfortunately. He is ringside tonight, though. Not much to teach Hopkins that's new, really, after what he's done in the sport.
No, you just get him ready, make sure, and you don't even have to do that. He's such a professional, doesn't cut any corners. I think Winky's got to land some punches without fully committing himself. I think he committed himself too much in the opening round, left himself open to counters. He wants to use the southpaw jab at a range and then get back out of there, certainly in the early rounds.
Yeah, what Ronald Winky Wright has done so well over the years is establish an early rhythm behind that southpaw jab and the peekaboo defense. Bernard Hopkins has faced 10 southpaws, beaten them all and stopped 9, and he is very capable of slipping that jab too.
So I got the impression that Winky Wright was trying to send out a message in the open round. I'm not intimidated here, I'm big enough to stand with you, and I'll show you that. But I thought it was a little bit clumsy. So we'll see maybe if he'll get his sensible head on as things go on. But see, again, walking straight forward towards Bernard Hopkins, not advisable.
Dan Birmingham, Winky Wright's trainer, who believes that Hopkins drinks from the fountain of youth, said you've got to be careful for his sneaky shots. He knows all the tricks.
Well, the only plan I can see in what Wright's doing at the moment is the fact that he thinks he can set, and he's hoping he can set a pace that Hopkins can't live with. Make him work in the early rounds, and hopefully he'll finish better. I thought it would have been another way around. I thought he'd have looked for an early lead with a little cushion to coast.
First example of the jab being pumped out by Wright. Hopkins on the move. And Freddie Roach's trainer said he has incredible footwork for someone at this stage in his life, Hopkins.
Well, Wright's not allowing him to set himself for any solid punches, which is good news. And Hopkins himself looking a little bit clumsy at the minute. So maybe Winky's prepared to take some shots early, as long as he's making the 42-year-old work every second of every round.
A real pick and fight, 50-50 in the media room this week about the outcome. A lot of late money on Winky Wright, who is of course younger by 7 years and maybe feels he has more to prove in the game still.
Now that was better from Wright, a couple of little feints before he threw the punches, forced Hopkins into making the move. Not so predictable in this round. Certainly a big improvement in what he's done here. Big improvement in Winky Wright's work, using his head now.
Yeah, got hold of the middle of the ring, shaking his head and winking at Hopkins.
Fine. You're smarter than this guy, okay? Keep turning them after your combinations. Beautiful, okay? Everything's working. The body shot, the jab.
Freddie Roach there saying you're smarter than this guy. Tit for tat, these rounds could swing. It could be very close, Jim.
Yeah, but I thought Winky Wright caused Hopkins some uncomfortable moments in the second round there. More method in what he was doing, showing little feints as he's doing now. A lovely counter.
Heads there, and Winky Wright furious. He said in the build-up that he believes Hopkins is a dirty fighter. Referee Robert Bird.
But I don't think that was intentional. He was throwing a little chopping right-hand counter, and the heads come on. But I mean, you couldn't call it. I mean, I think Winky here, with his experience, is just making sure that the judges knew that it was a headbutt that caused it. But yeah, well, no question it was a headbutt. You saw it there.
I don't remember Ronald Winky Wright being cut in his 50-fight career, but he is by the left eye. Accidental clash. And it will be a no contest if it stopped before 4 rounds.
Well, both been warned for use of a carelessness with the head. But Winky is fired up and not allowing Hopkins to use that natural weight advantage.
They're trying to get on top of Hopkins. There's the good defense of Wright. Again, he complains to the referee about the use of the head. Chasing him round the ring, Winky Wright. He is fueled now, the Floridian southpaw.
Yeah, more control in Wright's boxing here, but the problem is Hopkins is sharpened up a little bit, not offering the target. Nice little feint again from Hopkins. Good work.
Yeah, lovely right hand. He's cute and cagey, Bernard Hopkins. He finds punches from angles really well, like he did to totally outclass Antonio Tarver as the underdog last year. They want to fight, Jim. It's good to see.
Well, this is what I reckon, because I reckon that they were suffering criticism before the fight, and that's very, very unusual. Winky complaining again, whether he had something to complain about or not. I mean, you don't like to see a fighter complain. Maybe he's trying to get some points deductions, I don't know. But he's equally to blame for the way the heads are coming together.
Blood trickles from the left eye of Ronald Winky Wright.
Well, this is a pick-and round. Is it Winky's aggression or the cute counters from Hopkins? Good work just towards the end of the round from Hopkins.
A lovely punch there from the so-called executioner. And a right to the body, thuds in. And Winky Wright dropped his hands as he's done on occasions before.
A lot of good defensive work from Hopkins in that round.
Winky Wright cut by the head of Bernard Hopkins, and he was complaining in that round. He was not happy at all.
Well, there's no question it was accidental. Actually, Hopkins slipped the punch and Winky kept coming with it, and as Hopkins come back with the counter, the heads come together. No question it was accidental, but I'm sure Winky Wright could do without another problem to deal with.
Here's the 4th round. If you need the identification, it's the blue of Bernard Hopkins looking for his 48th win. Former world middleweight great with those 20 defenses, record-breaking, up against the former world light middleweight champion, Ronald Winky Wright, aiming for victory number 52. Wright, who's beaten Shane Mosley a couple of times. Also Felix Trinidad, Hopkins, who's beaten Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya. Top draw, these two.
Well, Hopkins can't complain because Wright is employing the tactics that should suit Hopkins. He's in front of him all the while. He's not running, he's not hiding, he's aggressive, committing himself. And exactly what the fans were hoping for.
One of the keys to Hopkins, Jim, is that he likes to work at his pace, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's chopping in some nice little counters here.
Wry smile from Hopkins, who said he's looked after his body, never abused it, doesn't need an alarm clock to get up at 4:30 in the morning to run in training camp, never puts on much weight, and is a credit to sport in general.
See, Wright was showing a nice little feint earlier on before he started throwing the punches, and that's what you have to do with Hopkins. Show the feint, cause him to make the first move. Too much of Wright's work has been out of range in this round. uppercut stuff coming from Hopkins. So Wright has to show that little feint he was showing earlier, then move in with the punches. Just a little bit too predictable, which will never work against Bernard Hopkins. So he's just pumping out the hand. And another problem, he's always there for the counters. Maybe not enough movement.
Sure, there is plenty of respect now in the ring between these two. The words have gone out of the window, and they know how good each other really is.
Well, the judges may be impressed by Winky Wright's aggression coming forward, but he's doing an awful lot of missing. And then he's covering up, standing in front of Hopkins, giving him a chance to put punches together. Hopkins was a little bit nasty with the head there, rubbing it in. It wasn't a clash, but he was rubbing his forehead and Winky's face there.
But Jim, he is the one that looks to be more in control of things after 4 rounds, Hopkins.
You have good defensive boxing, good counters, but it depends. Do you like the aggression? I'm leaning towards Hopkins' smartness.
When you hit it with a good shot, Wink, follow up. Hit that body and be ready for that counter. Use your legs a little more, Wink. Use your legs. Relax. Mouthpiece.
The minds of the trainers and the minds of the fighters. Tactics so crucial in a fight of this caliber. Bernard Hopkins showing no signs of slipping in his 43rd year. One or two have felt Ronald Winky Wright is not what he was, and shaken momentarily there by Hopkins.
Well, I remember years ago, Adam, sparring with bigger guys, and for the first few rounds, everything's fine, you're doing it in speed work rate, but the longer it goes, the tougher it gets, and the weight starts to come into it. A good counter from Hopkins.
Right hand from Hopkins, accurate. He's always had very good resilience and resistance, Ronald Winky Wright. He's had to fight in such places as South Africa, Luxembourg, back home in Britain, when he took apart Adrian Dodson and Steve Foster and gave Ensley Bingham that boxing clinic. Breathing quite heavily, Wright, in the 5th round too.
Well, he's really having to set a pace to try to keep himself in this, because it's a big job for him weight-wise. So that's, I mean, I've always fancied the second half of the fight would be Hopkins, and I thought Winky would try to get an early lead. Well, on my card, he hasn't achieved that, so he's struggling even more. Don't know if the judges agree with that, of course.
A couple squeaking through from Ronald Winky Wright. Decent enough combination there. Back comes Hopkins. Seems to have an answer, and is coming out of these exchanges the stronger fighter. And he just nods there, Winky Wright. You might be feeling 1 or 2 of these in the 5th.
Well, I always felt Wright's problem was the fact that he's prepared to stand in front of opponents and just block shots, as he's doing now. And it allows an opponent to take the initiative away from you. Look that little bit busier, even if he's only landing on the forehead, the judges are still going to score these shots. See, he just stands with a tight defence. That's okay if you're taking steam out of the other guy, but against a smart old campaigner like Hopkins, not advisable.
The movement and fluidity of Hopkins is spot on. Winky Wright looks down at his corner. Is he getting frustrated?
I don't see a lot of quality in Wright's work at the moment. I think that's the big problem. He's pumping the punches out, but there's not a great deal of quality in the shots. Some are getting through, fair enough, but I just like the quality, the chopping little shots that Hopkins is coming back with.
Light on his feet, Bernard Hopkins reading the fight well.
Use your face and your head movements, son,
Hopkins is in control of his boxing. He's looking confident, looking solid.
All right? He'll reach for everything.
So a bit more imagination, I feel, is required for Winky. The feint that he was showing earlier on in the fight, then let the punches go, then get out of there. Don't stand with a high guard waiting for the counters.
A disciplined game plan from Bernard Hopkins, whose former conditioner, Mackie Shilston, not working for Hopkins for this fight, but did for the Tarver one. Said he's worked with 3,000 athletes, and none is more dedicated than Bernard Hopkins.
See, I'm sure from the back of the hall, a lot of people will maybe feel these jabs are landing, but Hopkins is just slipping that chin out of it, just as he's done there and again. So good defensively, and he's so good with range. You know, he doesn't have to move the chin that much to get out of harm's way. He's learned every aspect of the game.
Only ever been beaten 4 times, Bernard Hopkins, in his debut, which you can long forget about, to Roy Jones Jr., and twice, pretty controversially, to Jermaine Taylor, the world middleweight champion. He's a very, very difficult man to get the better of. Body shot from Hopkins with the right hand. And he's throwing a great deal as well tonight, Jim.
Yep, I mean, Wright is kind of playing into his game. He's just standing right in front of him, allowing him to use the natural weight advantage. In the first round, Wright was moving around, using the ring that little bit more, coming forward. But now he's just standing right in front of Hopkins. And I don't really see, I don't see the sense in that.
Right hand just picked its way through the middle as well. And the guard of Winky Wright is being hit. Back he comes. This is already better than we thought it would be, isn't it?
Well, I reckon their pride would be stung by the fact that people were criticising it, talking it down before the bell sounded. So I expected it to be good. So this is every bit as good as I expected, thankfully.
This uncomfortable look about Ronald Winky Wright, and you don't often see that. The masterclass against Felix Trinidad, even when he got the draw against Jermaine Taylor. Last time out against Ike Quarte, totally the boss. And Hopkins has not allowed that to happen here.
See, Wright has never been in a fight where what he does simply doesn't work anymore. So, and I don't think he has anything else. What he has is worked so well throughout his career, hasn't needed anything else. See, been caught in the way in now. And the rounds are close. There's always the possibility the judges like he's come forward, his aggression, he's committing himself. But I just think that the accurate stuff is coming from the old fox.
Yeah, wily, crafty. And tactically so astute, Bernard Hopkins. Halfway stage. Freddie Roach has got to be happier than Dan Birmingham, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, I would have imagined the right camp would have wanted a hefty lead at this stage, something to coast if he had to do.
Right?
Make it a dog fight, Winky. Let's go.
Make it a dog fight, Winky. That's not what he's used to. I'm sure opinions at ringside will be divided. These rounds have been close. But as we go into the second half, I think you're right, Jim. Bernard Hopkins is in charge.
I have him at 4, but I wouldn't be surprised if the judges have it tighter than that, because Winky's put a lot into this, but I have him 4 points behind at the moment, because Hopkins, it's the kind of fight he enjoys. He can make the other fellow miss and top with the accurate counters. Winky, not enough method in what he's doing. He's forcing himself forward. He's trying his heart out, but not enough method.
Harold Lederman, for our American colleagues HBO, he has Winky Wright 2 in front, 58-56. That's fascinating.
Well, he obviously likes to come forward in the amount of punches he's throwing. But you see that little exchange again. Winky was doing all the work, but missing.
One got through there, though, from Winky Wright. Jim Wilkes, his advisor on the far side, up on his feet. Did he trouble Hopkins there in this, the 7th?
Yep, well, he gets through with another right hook come jab there. This is better. This will maybe give him that little bit more confidence. Just little dunce inside from Hopkins, not scoring punches. He's entitled to be warned for that.
Robert Bird giving him a ticking off. Another shot gets through from Wright, and there's been a change in the pattern here.
Much better from Wright now, putting a little bit of spite into the shots. Good right hook again.
Toe to toe. A touch of trench warfare. Could you have predicted this? Excellent to see these two putting so much in to a fight at this stage of their careers. They don't have to prove anything to anyone, and they're still doing it.
Well, Hopkins on his bike at the moment. I mean, this is not the controlled defensive boxing he's good at. He's on his bike here. So, Wright making an impression. A cute little uppercut he comes back with. Fair bit of success for Wright in this round.
Playing possum a touch, Hopkins looking for the cute counter, but more from Winky Wright here. Closing down the range. Lovely left hand. And Hopkins didn't get out of the way of that one.
See, that's better. You can't afford to throw single shots at such a good counter puncher. He's putting out doubles and trebles, so much better, much more success.
Bundle down. It's a bit lethargic getting up there, Winky Wright. But it was his round. Put a great deal into it.
Inside. Keep the numbers running inside like he's doing.
Beautiful, but stay off the ropes. You don't need to be there. You feel the ropes getting coming up, you know to get off them, okay? Keep this in the middle of the ring, you outbox them easy.
Keep this in the middle of the ring, stay off the ropes. Advice from Freddie Roach.
Well, was that Hopkins just taking a little breather in that round? Or is he beginning to feel that the pace that Winky Wright has been setting?
Still good.
Here's the 8th round, 376th in the career of Ronald Winky Wright, who again just stabs his head. Cut by the left eye in the 3rd round, unintentionally really. But Hopkins, well, he's always tricky to work out. Attempts the jab. It's not been smooth, this from Wright.
No, those were flicks, those weren't jabs. He was just following Hopkins. He knew he was out of range. I think maybe he was just stopping him from setting anything up. No, he wants to find the quality that he found in the previous round.
Body shot. And almost every punch Winky Wright is landing is getting a big cheer from this crowd. As Robert Bird warns Hopkins again for the use of the head.
Well, Winky Wright putting punches together better now, and that's what's required here.
And will further time catch up with Hopkins? Will those legs just not have as much freshness and zip as they have done through his career in the latter stages? Winky Wright continually nodding at Hopkins.
But that was a right hand landed from Hopkins, and I think the referee had a look at the eye just in case it had worsened. It was a good shot, but not too many coming from Hopkins at the moment.
Yet noticeably less from the former world middleweight champion, whose hero Marvin Hagler is at ringside. That was a better right hand from Hopkins, but he's left it late in this round.
Yeah, and Wright is fired up. He came through the punch and got his own shots off. Wright really is. We've seen a big drive in this round and the previous round from Wright. So we'll see if the weight disadvantage is going to count against him or see if he can sustain this. But this really is a big effort from him.
Wright's conditioner Daryl Hudson was telling me he's trained ferociously hard for this one. They've got him out of Florida into Vegas early. Knows how important, and the crowd getting behind. Winky Wright has to take a body shot, but it's surely been the former light middleweight greats round, this one.
Yeah, well, Hopkins maybe just finishing the round that little bit better, but I think he's taken too long to get things going in this one.
Crowd are enjoying it, and that's good to see.
He's tighter than you, champ. Trust me.
Fascinating to know how the two Glens, Hamada and Trowbridge, and Dave Moretti, the three judges at ringside, have got things. Are they favouring Winky Wright for his come-forward aggression? Or over the first few, did they like Hopkins for the accuracy? And as Dan Birmingham says, sneaky moves and shots. As always, with two of the very best, it is tough to score.
Yeah, you've got to expect the rounds to be close, but what's surprising me is the fact that Winky Wright still coming forward and actually beginning to impose himself on Hopkins. Jab working for maybe the first time, working regularly for the first time in the fight. Hopkins on his bike more than standing his ground and slipping punches.
This the round when Bernard Hopkins became the first man ever to stop Oscar De La Hoya, and the weight and the job just too much for the Golden Boy. At 11 stone 6 at middleweight. Winky Wright up at 12-2 for the first time is coping. He just stabs the eye again, and that will spur Hopkins on.
See, that is a bit of an experience from such an experienced man, but he's really fired up, really putting everything he's got into this. Now, good left hand from Wright.
Only 25 knockouts in 51 wins for Ronald Winky Wright, but his team believe that opponents don't know how strong he is until they have to share a ring with him.
Well, I think you can hear the crowd here because of the turn in the action towards Winky Wright. I think obviously people have put a fair bit of money onto Winky Wright, and things look to have turned in his favour here.
Right jab from Wright. Those hitting gloves from Hopkins. Been a real swing in this. Ronald Winky Wright surely grabbing rounds here.
Yeah, he's putting punches together, throwing just straightforward southpaw jabs followed by the left cross. Hopkins realising, but again towards the end of the round, he's done that so often early in his career, stolen rounds in the last half minute or so, and he's trying to do it again here. Maybe just hypnotise the judges as he's done before. But Wright has put out a lot of work in the first couple of minutes of this round.
A huge effort from Ronald Winky Wright in some of these sessions.
Next time you do that, I'm going to take a point from you.
Next time, a point's off, says Robert Bird, and Hopkins could ill afford that at this stage.
That's all.
Well, he seems tired right at the end of these rounds, but he's winning some of them.
This guy.
That's a nasty cut.
You got to punch on the inside, not just block.
Protect yourself
You're
inside.
outboxing, but run the numbers on the inside.
Antonio Leonard doing well with it though,
I know, but you can't
in the right corner.
Don't worry about it.
Las Vegas, the home of boxing. These two old masters have 9 minutes to go.
Well, you can see the scorecard, Wright tightening things up on my card, not allowing Hopkins to come back with the fancy moves, the fancy counters, the little chopping punches. I think he realised he had to raise the pace and he's responded.
As he turned things back in his favour, Ronald Winky Wright. Does Hopkins really have to respond here? They open up. Might only be in glimpses, in cameos, that you can see neither one wants to lose this battle.
Well, Wright doesn't seem to have a problem. At 170 pounds, he's still looking strong. I won't say fresh because it's been such a hard battle for him, but he's still in there, still holding his own in every department.
And how come Hopkins' game has been effective? What has Wright specifically done to close the ground and the fight?
Well, I think he started putting punches together, and that's what you have to do against the counter-puncher. In the first few rounds, he was pumping the punches out, but leaving himself open for counters. But now he's throwing them 2s and 3s, and just trying to impose himself a bit more, maybe a bit more method in what he's doing.
Hopkins with a combination. Wright's defence helping him out there. I think you're right, Jim. They've been angered by the criticism in the build-up, and that's why they're delivering.
Yeah, and they're really fired up, and you can imagine what a feather it would be in Winky Wright's cap if he could get a result here. And he's putting everything he's got into this. He's not used to being in these kind of fights, and then the way he's stuck with this really has been commendable.
He's never ducked anybody, and his 3 defeats have been close and controversial. In France, a long time ago, to Julio Cesar Vasquez, to Fernando Vargas and Harry Simon, but he hasn't lost since 1999. Quality operator.
Well, Hopkins, I think, has realised he has to get himself back into this. He's responding, but still Wright keeping that little bit busier.
Clapperboard for the end of the 10th. Left hand from Winky Wright.
This is a decent round for Wright, but I think it's taken a lot out of him. An awful lot out of him.
Leave it all here, Wink. You probably gave him that round. You did good.
Okay, all right, open him up. Now, B, the body shot's gonna hurt him, and the head shot's gonna finish him, okay? I promise you, okay? Try that right, when you're on the inside, drop down.
Never really marked up Bernard Hopkins, but Winky Wright is gaining the ascendancy.
Yeah, well, there's another round where Wright lost his way a little bit in the last half minute, 40 seconds. But he did a lot of good work in the first couple of minutes.
Well, Bernard Hopkins has been scheduled to go 12 rounds on 31 occasions and has done it 15 times. Winky Wright on 23 and has managed it 19 times. Old pros who never get stopped. It's going the distance again, surely. And Winky Wright driving himself forward, and maybe to another tremendous win.
The southpaw jab is working a little bit better the longer this one goes. Obviously the pace slowing the 42-year-old legs as well. So Wright just really has to dig in here.
You've got to remember that Bernard Hopkins said he wouldn't fight past 40, and after he beat Antonio Tarver, he announced his retirement again. First fight since then, a year and a month later. May have made the mistake. Still giving it everything. Will that be enough?
Well, Hopkins is trying to counter, and at this late stage in such a close fight, you would think he would want to initiate a few more attacks. But those shots were blocked from him.
Wright shakes his head. Psychologically, he's beginning to win the battle too.
Good left hand from Wright, but not able to sustain anything at the moment.
And the crowd once again shout, wink. They've really got into it, the fans here at Mandalay Bay. They've got their favourite.
Well, I'm not a great deal of quality at the moment, but you can't expect that 35-year-old, 42-year-old in the pace they've fought at. Not a great deal of quality. Another round, I think the little bit of quality there is coming from Hopkins. Wright's forcing himself, trying to pump the punches out, but it's looking like a real struggle for him. Hopkins digging them in again.
Yeah, Hopkins with a rally, but he's left it laid in around again. Not enough, surely. And Winky Wright, who said he has no intention of fighting the light heavyweight champions like his friend Chad Dawson and Clinton Woods back home. He wants to go straight back down and try and tempt Oscar De La Hoya into a fight. Is proving the weight is not a big factor. We need this round.
Gerald, give me some water.
Say the team. Remember, Bernard Hopkins is part of the Golden Boy promotional stable, and they're putting on this show, Jim.
Yeah, I don't think we want to look at it from that angle. The box isn't a bad enough state without looking at that. Hopefully we'll get a fair decision here. But Winky Wright has learned from bitter experience not to coast in the last round of a fight. He learned that against Jermaine Taylor. So, Hopkins looked by far the stronger in the 11th round. I have him 1 point up again. So I have everything hinging on the last round here.
The crowd clap. Final round. The old Warriors. Sweat-stained blue trunks of Bernard Hopkins. And the livelier footwork of Ronald Winky Wright. How have the judges got this? And who is going to win the war and the day? Trying to push out the jab again. Winky Wright, blood continues to trickle from that cut eye from the third round.
I think Wright is really struggling with the pace here, complaining again to the referee. I tell you, a point deduction at this stage of the fight would certainly come in handy. Hopkins bullying him a little bit, roughing him up in this round. Hopkins looking at just a little bit livelier in the 12th round here.
Ragged there from Winky Wright. But he wants this so badly. Right hand shaker there. Late on here. Good work from Bernard Hopkins.
But Wright certainly not coasting in this last round, but he's showing a bad target to Hopkins. Shipped a couple of good solid right hands. There goes another one.
Sweet shot from Bernard Hopkins, who's coming on strong late on. It's not been a tactical chess match. They have both given it their all, and that is great for boxing.
Yep, thankfully it's not been a letdown, it's been quite the opposite. Maybe even better than we hoped it would be. Wright still driving himself forward, but so far in this round I've liked the solid shots coming from Hopkins. Both obviously struggling with the pace. Another little chopping right hand from Hopkins.
Unbelievable that Hopkins can still do this at this age. Has he left it too late? Did Winky Wright get enough of those middle rounds? Good start, good finish from Hopkins. Dan Birmingham raising his hands in the blue corner alongside us. Bell's going to go any second. Winky Wright and Bernard Hopkins hold their arms aloft. Who will get the decision? Got to be tight, Jim.
It's got to be tight. I've given it to Hopkins by a couple of points. I had him winning the last couple of rounds. The early rounds are what has won it in my card for Hopkins. You can see 1-1-5, 1-1-3 in Hopkins' favour. Wouldn't surprise me a split decision here because Wright put so much into this. I like the quality boxing in the first half of the fight from Hopkins. Wright had a huge drive in the middle rounds, but for me Hopkins dug in that little bit better in the later rounds when Wright was struggling with the pace.
Hopkins looks the happier camper as he nicked it late on. Very good start and game plan. Wright certainly rattled him in the middle rounds. Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Mandalay Bay, we go to the scorecards. Glenn Hamada, 116, 112. Dave Moretti, 117, 111. And Glenn Trowbridge, same score, 117 to 111. All to the winner by unanimous decision. And still, light heavyweight champion of the world from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins.
Well, maybe the scoring a little bit kind to Bernard, but he had the same winner as me. I don't bother about point scoring as long as the right man gets the verdict. So I think everybody goes home happy.
Very wide to Bernard Hopkins. Winky Wright will be upset about that. But at 42, how does he still do it, Hopkins? Incredible.
Winky is tough, and he kept coming. You know, we had a thing at the press conference. Winky been around the game. He know me and I respect him. He know I respect his family and everything. The thing at the press conference, nothing but to hype it. I hope I put some extra dollars in his bank account by pay-per-view numbers, because that's what it's all about. We businessmen, and he know there wasn't no ill intent. It's just something to make things hype. That's boxing. It's been like that for years. And you can see Winky, he obliged what's happening, not only tonight, but what we did prior to the fight, man. So it's all good. They got a good performance. Boxing is back. Golden Boy is putting the best shows on, and y'all seen it today. And Winky, he ain't going nowhere. He gonna give anybody trouble, and I know why Jermaine Teller don't want to fight him no more.
He fought a great fight. He had better legs than I thought. He threw better punches than I thought. But the cut really, bothered me from the beginning, as you can see. But it's a fight. I ain't take nothing away from him. He fought better than a 42-year-old fighter.
What about the headbutt? Winky seemed to think it was intentional. We'll ask him in a second, what was the intent?
Well, Bird, the referee, told both of us, southpaws and orthodox fighters, as you know, Max, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we tends to cross feet.
Here it is, champ.
We tends to cross feet and tends to lean in, and that's what happens. I'm going under. See, he coming to me. Max, he coming to me, and I'm coming down. I'm not even looking at him. So he really came to me and fell on me after he threw a punch and leaned in and fell into me. It was an accidental headbutt. I mean, film don't lie. I didn't stick my head out and accidentally try to. It happens with southpaws and orthodox fighters. We tend to cross feet and bump heads.
I don't think it was intentional. It was a headbutt, but we fought. That's how it is. I told y'all from day one, I'm coming to fight. The people said it wasn't gonna be a fight. It was a fight.